And look at this, going opposite lane with the Royal Ghost as well. Sam has to put up some defense. There you go, the Executioner to just clean all of that up.
And the look over at it, Doom getting talked to by our referees. Not sure exactly what's going on there, but damage does come in for Doom here on that right-hand side with those guards. But Sam in the lead still.
Golden Knight down in front of the Executioner. Oh my word.
Dom repeated a card.
No way.
Dominic repeated a card.
No way.
Lumberloon Freeze usually has Baby D.
Unbelievable.
We just talked about not having a repeated card, and now we have it. He repeated his guards.
No way.
He repeated his guards.
No way.
That is exactly what Samuel wants after a week of trash talk from Doom. The fastest 2-0 that we've seen here at our World Finals so far. Let's see what Sam has to say. We're going to the stage.
Again, and back to the casters.
I don't even know what to do with that right now. You talk all that trash all week. You know, maybe it's just the weight of expectations in that moment. Repeating a card, unbelievable. Now, one big difference here.
Yeah, I know. You got to say it.
He stays in. He's not out yet.
Yes, he is.
He's lower bracket.
Well, I thought you were going to talk about this deck.
Oh, yeah. Also, that's the craziest part. Let's take a look at the deck. So here, we'll talk about this first matchup here. The Bowler Loon Freeze, the great play with the Archer Queen, the Mortar, the Poison, great control from Samuel Bassotto.
Yeah, 100%. You see that Valkyrie push in, the guards behind. I guess I misunderstood our producer there. I thought he said guards, he said cards, and I don't remember seeing guards in game number 1, but as you can see, this is what happens. Sam outplays him with that aggressive play, but then you go into game number 2. There is the NATO. There is the NATO.
Oh, this is the same two decks from game number 1.
He repeated a card, ladies and gentlemen. We know that it happened.
Yeah, so we'll take a look at that second deck here in a minute. But you and I, if we get to see it, we saw it afterwards.
Yeah.
The little secret there.
Hog Rider.
Hog Rider was in that Lava Hound deck.
It was a Lava Hog Rider deck. Now, I will say, during practice this week, we saw that change-up of 2.6 where they take out Hog and put in Lava Hound, but this was absolutely crazy to see Lava Hound plus Hog Rider. Meanwhile, you are also repeating a card.
Yeah, just craziness all over the board. Who knows? You know, he was maybe trying to select the deck here, got mixed up a little bit. That's just one of those moments where you got to feel maybe being down 1 just got to him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the biggest thing about when you talk a lot of trash and then you drop the ball early on is you feel that pressure magnify on yourself because you go, I have to back this up because it's not just about the game now, it's also about pride. And that's one of the things that maybe you don't want to put on the line when you're playing against someone that's already won almost $100,000 in their career. They've been a champion before. They won the first golden ticket. Samuel's very respected in the community in terms of his gameplay, and he just showed us why.
Now, let's be clear. This was also Lava up against an Executioner deck. Clearly, there was some preparation from Samuel's part. He had a good matchup, or at least a fairly decent matchup up to that point, so who knows if it would have changed anything, but Sam was definitely in the pocket.
So it sounds like now there may be something going on backstage with what just happened, so we're going to get to the bottom of exactly what that is before we start moving on through the day. As you guys saw, we thought we heard guards, it wasn't guards, we thought we heard card, and then you saw that we didn't get to see deck number 2, so not 100% exactly what has happened yet. And if he did not repeat a card, this is a very fascinating conversation because Sam just got to celebrate like he just won a 2-0 victory.
Yes, indeed.
What does that do to the mentality of both of you? Doom starts to feel like he has an extra life. He just got given an extra life at World Finals, maybe, or Sam, he gets, when you feel that good about winning and you have to reel it back in and dial back into the game. Because as you guys know, when you win a game or a match today, you get $10,000 more and you don't have to play again till tomorrow, which is a really big part of this equation.
And of course, we don't know yet exactly what the conversation is right now. So as soon as we have more information,
I'm sure they can tell.
Yeah, as soon as we have more information, you'll have the information as well. So hold your horses on that one. Man, I mean, we go back to game number 1, right? I don't know if we have the game 1 deck available. If we do, we'll take a look at that in just a moment. Go back to game number 1, that Bowler Loon Freeze choice. Not one of Doom's primary decks, right? Yeah. And then we see him going Lava in game number 2. You know, he typically plays Lava Miner, Lava Loon, or occasionally Lava Clone. Yes. So certainly, you know, taking that first one out, maybe the Lava pick in game number 2 was him going, you know what, you've already seen me play a lot of pieces of Lava. Maybe you think I won't do it, plus this is my deck.
Yeah, you know, but now we've seen twice in a row where their opponents are going, we know what you're absolutely absolutely best with or what your comfort is, and they're looking for that matchup when they're down one. We saw it last time against Aslan, and then again here with Sam. I mean, Sam hasn't been practicing a lot apparently, but I wonder how much he's actually practiced with Executioner. Now, he knows the mechanics of that deck because of how popular it was with Magic Archer and Ewiz, but you swap in that Exy, and I really think that is a great snipe because of the HP specifically. You can't get spelled off the board easily.
Definitely not. And I do want to take a moment to point out that if Bassotto does end up winning here, that's 3 members of that 2020 Pain Gaming team, the squad that was assembled for the fall split after not being in CRL together. That's a few members there who are coming through.
Yeah, and you know, if this match is actually over with, we are only a third of the way through the day. We've still got 4 more in the upper bracket, and then as we know, 4 elimination matches. And you travel all the way across the world. You've been here for a week, adjusting to the clock, grinding all day long, playing on internet, playing on different devices, and you gotta think, what does that do to their mentality when you are in that lower bracket? How much more pressure do you think they're gonna feel in their next game than they felt in their first one?
And let me go ahead and correct there. Sam was not on that Pain Gaming team, as I just said that. Just Brazilian and friends with Lucas Gamer. So, you know, there's a lot of craziness happening right here. We did not expect to see a repeated card, but as
well, Rich, you and I have never made a mistake in our whole career.
No, none, not at all.
They've loved us since 2018.
For sure, with 100% the whole way through. Man, it's one of those things where you talk about the pressure here at a moment like this when, of course.
We have it too.
Yeah, we have a little bit as well. We are getting some word right now that there was not a repeated card, and we're going to pick this up from game number 2. So it's still 1-0 Samuel. It's still those first 16 cards out, 8 on each side, but we are going to continue from game number 2. Wow, unbelievable.
That is, I'm literally speechless right now. You have 2 people that are coming off of a very interesting emotional roller coaster over the last 5 minutes. Samuel thinks that he's won, he's walked away, he doesn't have to show up again until tomorrow. And then Doom on the other side of it, probably going, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, I did not repeat a card, or it's not, you know, like what are you doing here?
Well, the interesting thing now is they're going to go and get 2 minutes to build decks. The surprise that Doom had built into that, the Hog Rider that we saw as part of that Lava Hound, that's gone.
Play it.
Now, here's the thing. It still might not have made a difference. It still might have been locked down with the counter snipe by Samuel, but that whole pop there going, hey, you've been shutting down this Lava Hound, boom, Hog Rider opposite lane, that's no longer there.
Well, and also you talk about the snipe that Sam had come in, and now that's no longer effective. Doom getting kind of a break here because that wasn't the matchup I think he wanted. Sam had a lot of pieces to deal with the Lava Hound, with a Hog Rider, and now neither of their choices are available anymore because you can't just run it back.
Or you can.
Or
play
you
the
can.
Mind game.
That's right.
Play
you
the
can't
mind
play
game.
the mind
Go ahead
game.
and do it again. I mean, look, that's a call you have to make right now is do they anticipate?
But they don't have their coaches.
But they don't have their coaches.
You know?
Go ahead and figure it out.
Yeah, I know. This is why in order to win that $250,000, you truly do have to be the best in the world. You got to play through all of these crazy factors. And of course, this is not what we expected in this matchup, but I think it's still going to be a good one. There's a lot of bad blood, like you said. There's all of this hullabaloo going on, but they get to go back into game number 2 here in just 1 minute.
So here's the question now. Who takes the bigger emotional impact? Sam thinking he had won and being locked down, or Doom with this crazy roller coaster he's been on?
I got to go Sam. I feel like Sam had a better matchup in match number 2. I felt like he kind of had his number, and I felt like Doom has now had a lot of time to not only recollect himself, but be correct about a monumental argument that he's probably having with League Ops. So he gets to come back and go, look, I get to come back, I get another life, I get to change up my deck, Sam Snipe is no longer in play, and then this leads us to so many question marks in game number 2.
Yeah, I mean, all over the board. What's their mentality like? Where do you go? If you don't go from here, right, then where do you go in your deck pool? You have a plan built for game 1 and game 2, and you kind of play on the fly in game number 3. Well, then now do you kind of think about what you might have gone for game number 3 and slot that back in? Do you craft from scratch again?
It's just not the same conversation as it used to be when it was in teams format, because dual mode, when you are on this stage, when you don't have your coach or your analyst, it's kind of like starting a ball or a snowball at the top of a hill, and then based off of what it hits along the way, that is the only course it can go down. So you saw what happened in game number 1, what was played, what is available, what they played, and that deck 2, it's not like an accident that those are the decks that came out. So this is rebuilding from the ground, except for Sam has 1 in the pocket. So I still have to give him the advantage, even though I do think Doom is in a better mental spot.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably right. I mean, look, if there's one thing I will say, Sam did look sharp, looked very, very sharp. And I might be eating my words here in terms of the preparation side of things. Sam looked dialed in. So the question is, can you remain dialed in, right? What are you thinking about besides just gameplay?
Well, I think the most important thing, Rich, is you cannot be upset.
Yeah.
If you're Samuel Bassotto,
Yeah.
you need to calm whatever you might be feeling, the frustration, the anger, even if it's still the excitement from you playing so well in game number 1 and then having that situation in game number 2, all of that needs to subside. You need to dial back in and just go right back to why you're here, why you won the first golden ticket, or why you qualified through that stage 5, right?
Yes, for sure. And for those of you who are following along on event.clashroyale.com and got your votes in, if you haven't yet, well, now's still a little bit of time, I think, to lock those ones in. And maybe some of you are you just lost out on some plays. Maybe you're sitting there going, yes, I get my second chance here at getting those big ones.
Yeah, it's not often when you get to kind of gamble for something and then they go, well, actually, we were wrong. So we're going to give you another shot. So for all you guys that maybe picked Doom, probably very, very happy whether you're at home or here in the arena. And what an incredible arena we have here. It's filled with some of the biggest names in Clash Royale. You and I are both a little starstruck, of course, when we see people that we've talked about for year after year after year. And also old friends, whether they be casters or people that we used to cast for back in the day.
Sure, yeah. Some of the biggest names in Clash Royale here. Champions of old and maybe champions of new. Of course, we have 16 people, one of whom will hoist a trophy this time. Of course, we do have one person who has a chance at repeating that championship in Moogie.
I mean, I just can't even fathom what that would be like to win back-to-back world championships. So let's take a look here at the bracket, just to remind you guys for the action that's coming for the rest of the day here, and of course to remind you of what has already happened. 13 seconds remaining here, and a lot of damage needed for Doom, so he decides to use that Golden Knight to kite everything back. Executioner doing it in style.
Wow.
3, 2, 1.
Can it do it?
Tower
no,
not
it
down.
Can't. Not Samuel.